My video for August 11th, 2018, which is video number 2812, so 811 for 812, anyway, is entitled My Little Girl's Birthday. When my son was born on Valentine's Day, I had gone away from the room to rest. It was taking way too long at a time when they did not induce labor as I think they do nowadays. Anyway, almost exactly 2.5 years later, I was right outside the delivery room when my little girl was born. They called me inside and handed her to me. I held her even before her mom. Of course, they are both special to me. So is humanity. We are here, it is said, to learn lessons, and what hard lessons they are. Many little ones are abused from the start, which, I'm told, is especially true in the so-called elite circles. What a travesty that any child should not be loved and nurtured from the start. If they were, the world might be a lot more compassionate than it is. Those in leadership roles seem to totally lack that essential human value. With all my heart, I hope our Heavenly Father, of whom it is said God is love, gives humanity a new birth of freedom, not to harm others, but to help each other become the best we can be. That's still the world of my dreams. Ironically, and serendipitously, and whatever other adjective you want to apply, as I finished typing that blurb, on the screen next to me was a list of other videos that I could watch, and one of them was David Icke's video entitled "The War on Children, While Parents Look the Other Way." I didn't watch that. I only saw it just a short time before I'm recording now. So I probably will, although his videos tend to be a lot longer than mine. I think that one was 50 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It's not on the screen right now in front of me. Well, it is, but it's behind the image of me talking. Anyway, folks, I want to see a sane world. And to me, the world that I live in is very far from being sane. The worst people, and I know I've said this in recent videos and probably many times in longer ago videos, but it seems that the worst people, beings, whatever they are, the worst of the worst gets to rise to be in positions of controlling others. This is a travesty. I mean, yes, when a little child is born, you have to teach them so that they are safe. Yet Anastasia, when she was raising her son, did it by observation. She stood back and watched him. He learned what didn't taste right and would make faces if he put something in his mouth that wasn't right. But he touched and observed and listened and grew up with gifts, talents, and abilities that our children in our culture do not grow up with. We live in an artificial culture where we are isolated in many cases from nature itself, especially if we grow up in cities and don't get to spend much time in Central Park if you're in New York City or other parks. We tend to be very regimented by paved roads and paved sidewalks and buildings sometimes that tower way up high, and there's very little contact, even human contact with one another. We live in a culture that does not produce loving, kind, compassionate people. That's just simply a sad reality that we have to admit to ourselves. And what is the remedy? Well, the remedy is, first of all, to be open-minded enough to explore, not what the controllers tell us, but what others like myself that are trying to make a positive difference. Listen to those of us that put love first, that put humanity in a place where we can discover the hidden and repressed talents, gifts, and abilities that I believe is inside of all of us, but they are not nurtured. They are not. The education system itself is, and my grandkids started school today. I have to pick them up this afternoon because that's the way it is. But in any case, the education system and everything in our culture is geared toward the monetary system, which is itself a form of enslavement and obvious abuse. Because when you're treating slaves as slaves, you've got to have somebody control them. And the controllers now use psychological means of control rather than the whip, which used to be used in a long ago era, although not so long ago, actually. The whip was still used in the 18th century and even 19th century America, and probably other parts of the world. I don't know how it is in third world countries. I didn't grow up in a third world country. I grew up in the United States, but I was born in suffering, and I've been suffering ever since. Suffering, New York, that is, at the Good Samaritan Hospital. And I've tried to be a good Samaritan. I've tried to do the right things. I've tried to uplift and shine the light on areas where abuse exists so that we can correct the abuse. I try. I do my best, but my best isn't enough. And now it seems like my videos are getting fewer and fewer views. I do honestly believe that Facebook and YouTube have some way limited access to my videos. As I said in a not too long ago video, I was wondering why a particular friend wasn't responding. And finally, after several attempts, I was able to reconnect and found out that they had not seen any of my last few messages to them on Facebook Messenger. What's wrong with that? Are they blocking others too? I'm sure they are, because they being the dark forces have done atrocious things to children, which is why there are so many, not affidavits, so many awaiting. I mean, there's tens of thousands of criminal indictments that are ready to be handed out. And one of them, of a U.S. congressman, has already been handed out. Is that the beginning of the cleaning or draining the swamp that's been promised? I don't know the answer to that. I hope it is, but I don't know. Because, of course, those that are in the swamp don't want the swamp drained. They don't want exposure. They want to continue to be the rulers and the dominant force on this planet and be able to continue to rip off humanity in general, and even reduce and destroy humanity by reducing the world's population. Again, Georgia Guidestones. Folks, these are things that we need to pay attention to, but more importantly than what we need to do, God needs to take responsibility for creation. If God was love from the beginning, where's the love now? I know you've heard me say that numerous times if you've listened regularly, but it's true. I want to see the love. I want to see the manifestation of caring for one another and wanting to help lift one another. I hope the RV is a step in that direction. Is it? I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever be allowed to happen. I'm sure there are those that do not want it to happen. They do not want the third world to be uplifted and people around the world to be told the truth, because ultimately, if we're told the truth will set us free. But it will piss us off first, as has been said. Anyway, folks, I appreciate those of you that take time to listen, and thank you again. Namaste.